So, Mrs. Potter, she's sort of like the busybody of Casa del Norte. What's her deal? Tell me about Mrs. Potter.
What is her deal? Mrs. Potter was probably formally Miss Casa del Norte, is what we once discussed in an early movie meeting. And it's not really discussed if she has kids from a former marriage, but she's definitely a single woman. And you can just sort of tell by the way she carries herself and the way she dresses that she's sort of definitely looking for Mr. Right to come back around, or maybe for the first time. And she meets this interesting detective in this movie of ours, and they sort of hit it off in an odd way. There's a lot of weird people. You know, everybody is scarred in this film. Everybody is flawed. I mean, it's interesting because I think that Mrs. Potter is really one of the sort of good guys in the script, along with Detective Boland, but you know he's had a checkered past. You can just tell it by looking in his eyes. Mrs. Potter is more of one who's wanting a checkered past. But I think that she's one of the few redeeming characters. Everybody in this movie absolutely should be in therapy. I mean, they are not going to Sunday school on Sunday morning, that's for sure. Mrs. Potter is the comic relief, that's her. And I get to sing in this movie. I get to sing at a wedding. I won't tell you whose wedding, but I sing at a wedding, and they picked the song, I Honestly Love You, and I actually used to do that years ago in my act, so it was fun to get to do it again. I think that she has some pretty good instincts, and I think you combine that with being, a noisy, nosy body, and I think she's trying to piece things together, but she does think, I won't tell you who it is, but she does absolutely feel that it's one person throughout the whole movie. Even though other little clues fall into place, she really never lets go of her initial thought on who it is. And I can't tell you who that is. She could be, and I'll tell you when Detective Boland first meets Mrs. Potter, she is questioned as if she could be a suspect, but I think that ends pretty quickly. The suspicion of her being the one. I was attracted to the director before I read the script, and Michael Steinberg wrote me a couple of letters in New York and asked me if I would read the script and consider playing Mrs. Potter. And with that letter came a wonderful bio on him and some of the work that he's done that I was familiar with, and I thought that was very flattering, and I liked his style, and I liked the way the guy wrote a letter. And then he also wrote a letter one, letter two. Letter one was read the letter, read the script, and then read letter two after you read the script. Then he wanted to, tell me how he was going to shoot it and all of that. But then when I read it, it was a murder mystery, and I couldn't put it down. And I read it on the plane from New York to LA, and I just kept flipping those pages. And when I found out who'd done it, I was very surprised. Worked with Julia only on 2 scenes, but absolutely, I thought she was really connected to the material. Thought she was absolutely terrific, really grounded, and she's very, very young. I don't know if you know how old she is, but she's very young, and she's gonna turn into a very fine actress. She is a fine actress, but I can only imagine where her career is gonna take her. Michael Parks is, talk about still waters run deep. Michael and I met years ago. My very first job in the whole world was on the Johnny Cash show in Nashville, and Michael came on and sang. And so on the first day of shooting, I went up to him and I said, "I'm sure you don't remember me. I was a teenager in Nashville, Tennessee, and we did the Johnny Cash show together." And He looked at me and looked at me again, and he said, and now I'm going to have to fall in love with you too. And we actually had a great time. We sang on the set almost every day. He knows every song ever written, from Cole Porter to Hoagie Carmichael to Kern to, I mean, Rodgers and Hart, you name it, he knows, to Willie Nelson. I mean, his storehouse of musical information in his head is really overwhelming. So I had a great time working with him. Billy Moses, I actually didn't know any of the actors in this movie before we worked together. And Billy has the best name in show business. Billy Moses, it sounds like he's going to come out of a Ben-Hur movie or something. He was great. He's has a very unique wiriness about him that I think is so perfect for the part. And it's hard to know if that came first or the part came first because I don't know him. But he has a unique combination of talent and chemistry and sort of a vibe about him that is very mysterious, and it's absolutely dead on perfect for this part. I think it's a whodunit. It's a whodunit that you sit there through the whole movie, or while I was reading the script going, oh no, it couldn't be, and you keep going, oh maybe, and then you go, no, not that person. So it's the intrigue, it's the mystery. You know, everybody loves a good murder mystery. And in this particular script, there are so many people who could have done it, who have the opportunity, the window of opportunity, the reason to do it. I think that in itself, I mean, everybody loves a good old whodunit.